Dun, 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 dun. Am I more than you bargained for? Yeah. Oh, then dying to tell you anything you want to hear. Cause that's just who I am this week. Lying in the grass next to the mausoleum. I'm just a notch in your bedpost, but you're just a line in a song. Notch in your bedpost, and you're just a notch in a song. Drop a heart, break a name. We're always sleeping in and sleeping for the wrong team. We're going down, down,
Down,
down,
down,
down, down. Sugar, we're going down
go down,
swinging.
swinging.
I'll be the number one with the bullet. A loaded god complex, cock it and pull it.
Going down, down.
Bro, I had to look up the lyrics for this one, and I definitely have been saying the wrong words for a couple of things. Lying, lie in the grass next to the mausoleum. I think I
What's a
must have been.
mausoleum? I don't even think I know what a mausoleum is.
I think that is something related to a cemetery. Yeah, it's like above ground tomb.
Mm.
And then there's that part that says a loaded god complex cock it and pull it. I think I might have just been saying a loaded gun.
Kind of depressing, honestly.
I'm just a notch in your bedpost. I might have been saying nacho. Like, I'm just a nacho. I'm just a
In your
notch in
bedpost.
your bedpost, and you're just a line in a song. Oh man, what's up? How's everything with
That was the
you?
good old days, man. Middle school, little
Yeah,
Fall Out Boy, Lincoln
dude, we
Park
were
action.
we were in Nashville for a bachelor party this weekend, which is why response rate has been. Peter was like, "Bro, I know something's happening when the response rate takes 2 days, but Nashville is an unbelievable place."
Should eat some
Like,
hot chicken.
I had three. I had
How
two in one
spicy was
day.
it?
Yeah, I was shitting my brains out, but the spice is like unbelievable. It's like really, really tasty. Like I put it in my top 10 like sandwiches. Really, really good. But no covers for any bar that you go to.
Okay.
Live music, literally the whole day, which is insane.
And is it also open container on the streets as well too?
I think there's certain pockets that are a little bit more enclosed that they do allow open container.
Okay.
But yeah, dude, it's just it's an insane city. Like
Oh
I'm
yeah, I've never been. Maybe next live event we'll do it at next live event we'll do it at Nashville.
I don't think that's a terrible idea. It would be definitely fun to get people together there.
Yeah,
But yeah, we were
we
at
hit up some
a
sort of rodeo, right? Get your cowboy game on.
yeah, we went to the honky tonk 3 nights in a row. Then like the first 2 nights until 4 a.m. The third night I was like, yo guys, I can't like do this. So I went back. I hate to be the party pooper, but I'm like, bro, I gotta sleep. Like I can't be doing this 3 nights in a row. 2 nights is already crazy.
Yeah,
Which
dude.
is
I
like,
mean, like when you get the boys back together, though, sometimes you just gotta pull out all the stops.
dude, 18 people, I think
You said
15,
18 people.
18 deep.
Dude, that is a squad, man.
Yeah.
So these,
So
these are your buddies from high school, middle school, or college.
high school, college, and then some colleagues.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think it was like 10 PTs.
There you
So
go.
it is what it is. But what are you up to?
Not much, man. Training. I'm about 4 weeks out from my race. Feeling good, dude. I'm ready to get these last two big old workout weeks over with, and then just ready to rip, man.
Yes, CIM. It's early December.
For December 7th, first week of December.
Holy
Yeah, one of
cow!
my buddies that I've been training with, he just did Indy this past weekend. He hit 256, and we've been training like pretty consistently together. So I'm like, all right, sweet. He was able to kind of hit that. I was like, I should be kind of right there, right along with it, come a couple of weeks. But
Yeah.
yeah, dude, this weather is like kind of crazy, man. Like today was like 30
Where you're
degrees
at, bro?
out. Yeah, I was in like a beanie, some gloves, and my fingers are still frozen when I was out running this morning.
Yeah. I'm I know I'm like tracking like the sub 140. I'm like, damn, I gotta run a 730 clip. But we got this shit. We got
You
this
got it,
shit.
bro. I got to shout out our guy Vince, man. Vince ran a half marathon this past weekend. I think he clipped right under 90 for his for this half marathon.
Nice. Second one, I
Yeah.
think. But dude, he's tall as shit. Vince got the good genetics, bro.
Is he?
Vince got
Bro,
good genetics.
I never met Vince yet in person yet, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
You guys might be similar heights, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah.
But yeah, dude, like I signed up for the lottery for the United. Have you ran the United Half in New York?
That's the one in March, right?
Yeah, they run through Times Square. It's like one of the only races where Times Square is closed, which is
Okay.
cool.
It's
I
how
signed
many
up.
participants typically go through that one?
That's a decent amount. It's a pretty
Yeah.
packed half.
Probably not as packed as New York City Marathon though, right?
28,500
Yeah,
for
that's about half of what New York City Marathon is, right? Because I think NYC full is around close to 50. Did they break a?
50,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I saw an article where they said it was like a PR this year of how many participants.
Yeah,
But yeah, dude, I think me and Catherine are about to roll up there next year, try and get in New York.
yeah. Christy and I signed up for that one for the lottery, and then I signed up for Chicago lottery. So marathon season next year again.
Let's go.
I'm gonna try to what's the goal thing? It's like your tier one goal, tier two. I'm just trying to hit the
You have
sub
like an
four.
A goal, B goal, C goal stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, A goal is sub four. B goal is 3:45. That'd be sick, but
Love it.
we'll see. We'll see.
You got plenty of time though, man. You got plenty. Yeah, it's about 11 months from now, right?
Yeah,
Almost a full year to kind of get get the training rolling and everything.
yeah. I think with marathon training, there's so much sacrifices and suffering that you have to go through, and it almost is like entrepreneurship. What do you think about that one, Peter? What do we think of that transition?
I'm gonna give it a solid 8.5.
8.5. I think I could. Hold on. Let's run it back. Let's run it back.
All right, run back.
You know,
So we're about 11 months out.
it's about the tonality. It's like 11 months out, and you just think about the year ahead,
Yeah.
all the sacrifices, the pain, the hardships. And when you're doing a long run on the weekend, you're running 15, 18 miles. You don't have the energy sometimes to see friends,
Yeah.
or you can't go out and have drinks. And those kind of sacrifices, you kind of see that with entrepreneurship.
Bang bang.
What do you think there?
I was a solid 9.5.
There you go.
That was it. That got a bang bang.
No, 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 no. Run it back.
You can't hit up bachelor parties with your friends. You gotta maybe give out a night out at the honky tonk with the boys because you gotta wake up early and hit 18 miles the next morning, man. But
It's
those
funny because
sacrifices,
two of my boys had finished the New York City Marathon, so they're ready to honky tonk.
right? Yeah, just like
They're like, no, we're good. Let's get it, baby.
yeah. No, man.
Uh,
I think one of the big reasons why I am very drawn into like fitness and running currently is just because I just see so many parallels with running, training for something that's a good ways out, and giving up multiple different sacrifices, going through the same regimen, go through the same routine, day in day out, week after week, ultimately kind of for this end goal, right? And kind of similar with entrepreneurship, business as well too. You kind of just every single day you're doing the same thing, right? Calling leads, getting people in for evals, and oftentimes you kind of just are kind of in the thick of it, and there are days where you just kind of feel like you're barely able to kind of keep your head above water, and then all of a sudden it's like bang, end of the year hits, or hey, we hit our monthly goal, and it's like wow, crushed it.
yeah, there's like, it's like when I first started running. I remember my first self-imposed half marathon. I ran like a 10:30 clip, and
Uh-huh.
then like literally like a year and a half later, like my second official marathon, I ran like a 7:50 clip, and I was like, holy shit, like it's just crazy. Like 10:30 now I would be able to do whenever. And I think looking back at entrepreneurship is the same thing, right? It's like
Mhm.
the stuff that we dealt with in year one, year two are hopefully things that aren't quite as bad, battles to fight in like year three, year four, year five. But yeah, dude, I remember New York City Marathon. We were traveling for our honeymoon, and I did 20 miles in Barcelona. And I was just like, fucking, this is the last thing I want to be doing on a honeymoon
Yeah.
in the heat in Barcelona. And we were in a small town outside of Barcelona. So I had to run the same route 6 times.
In circles.
So I was just like, brutal, brutal. Um, But yeah, I think like the biggest sacrifice I feel like I've had to make, and again, all these sacrifices I don't think are permanent sacrifices. They're just like hopefully transient sacrifices as you build a business that affords you the ability to have some time back. But yeah, I definitely feel like I've sacrificed so much time with friends and family. Like
For sure.
there's aspects where I'm like, damn, I've had I had my brother go through something, and he called me. He's like, hey man, like I'm just like super upset that like you didn't like have like you didn't even call to check in on me and stuff like that when this was happening. Like I really wanted your support, dude. I just remember like sitting at a bar with Christy like Sunday like afternoon after brunch, and I'm just like tearing up, like fuck, like and it always comes in like the perfect storm, right? Because like
Hmm.
sometimes you're like
Oh yeah.
struggling in business, and then you have someone call you like, "Hey, bro, like, what's up, man? Like, you never hit me up anymore." And I'm just like, "Oh man, I feel like I can't do shit. I can't be a good entrepreneur. I can't be a good friend. I can't be a good son." And like, I always remember that moment with my brother because like that shit really felt so visceral. Like, damn, I really should have because you've done nothing but always support me my whole life.
Yeah, 100%. I'll have to set reminders for myself to call my mom, dude. Otherwise, oftentimes, like, yeah, I'm just like in the thick of it. I'm just like, go, 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 go. But ultimately, it's just like, dude, at the end of the day, it's all about the people that are consistently around us, right? The relationships. And sometimes it's just like we can't foster those as much as we would like to be able to because of like business. But yeah, it's just kind of all about trying to figure out like what's the right balance between the two. I don't know if you've ever felt this way, man, but I know, I think initially when I first started business, I thought it was going to be way easier than what it actually is. And it's kind of similar with like when I first started running, I was like, dude, I'm coming in super fit from CrossFit. I'm like, dude, this will be a piece of cake. Oh, why is everyone talking about like trying to break three, like 650? Oh, that's super easy pace. And then you actually kind of start like training, and then you do your first half, and then you do your first full. And I'm like, holy shit, like this is actually way harder than what initially like thought it was actually going to be. And similarly, same thing, I think at the very beginning with like physical therapy with cash pay, it's like, all right, cool. All I gotta do is like do a really good job treating people, get them better, and like the business will come in and of itself, right? The money will follow. But then you realize like just being a good clinician and treating people and getting people better isn't enough to actually, have all the marketing, sales, and things dialed in. You wouldn't actually know that though until you actually, get into the weeds of like training the bit and trying to build the business. And so I think a lot of times it's just like a pretty big rude awakening in terms of like what you think it's actually going to be versus what it actually is.
When was your first like Mike Tyson moment where like everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face, like business wise?
I would say like month two of business. I thought it was
Months?
gonna be, yeah, month two.
What
Yeah, I
happened?
came in. I came in thinking, I was like, oh, dude, I won't be able to like hit 10K like right out the gate, dude. I think my second month I had like three patients. I think my monthly revenue was like $1,000. It was, yeah, it was miserable, man. And then I was like, man, I doing all the shit, I'm doing all the marketing, but still not working out. I'm like, okay, this is it's a lot more that goes into it than what you actually think. And even still, like to this day, I think we're about 6 years in now. There's still so many different pieces to the puzzle that is just like on paper it seems very simple, but when you to be able to execute it at a very high level is very, very different. And I think same thing in the marathon, right? People think, all right, all you gotta do is like run, but you have like the nutrition dialed in, like, and if you mistake a gel at a certain mile, like it'll come back and kick you in the ass like later. Same thing with like if you try and push too hard a little bit too early on, you kind of potentially end up cramping, right? So just so many different nuances, and like I think the elites, they just it's a perfect example of like what it's like to work not only really, really hard, but also to be able to execute at a very, very high level as well too.
Yeah, the timing of things are so crazy because like your training could be fucking dialed in, and then like it's like one of the hottest runs ever that day.
Yeah.
Just happens to be really warm. Um, I think I always say to myself like if I had to do one thing, it'd be super easy, right? Like if I just had to focus on business, like, yeah, be a fucking cakewalk. But the problem is like you start to focus on business and then like you're still a human being with like emotions. And that's been
Yeah.
something where it's like been tough. Like if you've got a significant other,
Mhm.
like, and you're just grinding away, and like let's say you start to see like 30 patients a week and you're having 30 separate conversations, and then like you're starting to come home and like you don't want, maybe it's your first time doing that many one-on-one conversations, you will be kind of emotionally zapped,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to be present for your significant other. So like have you had that happen for you?
Oh, dude, there have been so many times where I just feel like I come back home from like a long ass day and I'm just kind of like a shell of who I was. And it's really bad because, it's like, hey, I have my wife now who is like my incredible second half, and she has to take over almost like the leftovers of who I am. And so, I think I've been very luckily and blessed to be able to have like a significant other who's like super supportive of, the amount of work that I put into the business. And we're able to kind of figure out balances between, all right, what's the appropriate amount of time that, we're able to kind of dedicate towards each other, but also at the same time towards the business where she doesn't necessarily feel like, the relationship is being neglected as well too. And I know the same thing with you and Christy, right? Like both of you guys are working, together in the business as well too. So I know being able to kind of navigate that can be difficult sometimes because it's like, hey, you guys are already talking about the business, but how do you kind of delineate and separate that between that and then also personal relationships as well too? I think one of the things that'll be interesting to kind of see is like, hey, like, when we plan to have kids, like, what is that going to look like? All right.
Dude, shout outs to parents, bro. Shout outs to parents.
Yeah.
That's super tough. And that's where like it becomes really tough to have like a lifestyle business, right? Because like a lot of people that will tell you like, hey, you can run a lifestyle business completely online, one, which is a lot more harder than in person. um, it still requires you to be the one that services, because if you're running a lifestyle business and you hire one other person, that person's not going to stick with you because they want opportunities, they want to be able to grow. So like if you're planning to have kids and you're launching a scaling or launching a practice, you're going to have to scale it because you're not going to be able to have time to service because you're going to have to be a parent, and that
Yeah.
takes a lot more time as well.
You want kids someday?
We're thinking about it. I think the average age of having a kid's like 30, and I imagine in New York City it's even higher, like
Yeah.
New York City in specific. I think the biggest reason why we haven't is in New York. It's definitely some of the financial stuff. Like it's just hard to buy a place, and we don't
Hmm.
want to move outside the city yet. But the other side of it, it's like I want to be like really, really emotionally mature, so that even if like we're doing having an off month, like I'm not going to take that out on a parent. I'm going to take that out on a kid, or I don't want to be. It's not even like the it's the energy, right? Like if you're having an off month and you don't bring the right type of energy, and this could not even be with a kid, it could be with your significant other, it could be with friends. Like if you're kind of like down on yourself and you and the homies are kicking it, it's like your homies don't care that you hit a bad month, right? They
Hmm.
just care that you're a homie. So it's like same thing with a kid. I think I forgot at what age, but they already understand body language, kids. So it's like if your body language and all that stuff looks kind of defeated, like that will also rub off the same way. So it's like I'm trying to be so emotionally resilient that like I don't impose any of my own fears to my kid. But
Yeah.
I had the group therapy session last night from 8 to 10 p.m. with Joe Hudson. Dude, my partner dropped a fire one on me. He says your parents impose their fears as wisdom, and I was like, damn, that is fire. Because that's what happens, right? It's like your parents go through some scary shit, and instead of like trying to address those things, they just think of it as like common knowledge, and then they give you these limiting mindsets over time. And it's nothing against them. They're imposing their fear as wisdom to you to protect you. But I
Hmm.
don't want to impose any of those things to my own kid.
Dude, I feel like it's a whole nother level when you have, yeah, like a little human being around who basically just soaks in everything that you do, from the way you talk to the way you interact with other people and stuff. So yeah, it's just like how will you behave based on how the business does is going to be tremendously huge. I know for us, we're probably going to wait another like 4 years or so
Yeah.
till yeah we're closer to like 35, 36.
That's exactly
But
it. I'm like, yo, bro, with this VO2 max slowly trending every year, this longevity, I'll be able to kick it with
I
the kid,
know.
with the
Yeah,
grandkids. Like, tell
Captain's
them it's
like,
like,
hey, get all your marathon training out now. Get all your Ironman training, whatever it is. Yeah, dude. One of my buddies that I train with, he just had a kid, like literally last month, and I hadn't seen him. And we used to like run, train together probably at least 3, 4 days a week together, and I hadn't seen him. Dude has been AWOL, man. And I'm like, shit, like, is this gonna happen to me? But I have a
you gotta
kid.
wait till the speed work
You
with the
have
stroller.
priorities.
You get the strollers. The dads in the New York are
Yeah.
always running with strollers. It's hilarious around Central Park.
Bro, I swear every single race that I do, there's always one dad or one mom that ends up like rolling right past me, pushing a stroller every single race. And I'm just like, bro, how are they doing that? I'm over here like huffing and dying. They're just casually just like, they're crushing it, man. But I would say, yeah, I think one of the reasons why, you know, I guess like for both of us, we both started fairly young, right? Like out of school around like 27 or so. I think in the back of my head, I always knew like, hey, at some point, whenever I did have kids, I would want to be able to have kind of like the freedom to be able to again like take care of them, have the time to not be in clinic. And so for me, I was like totally fine with like grinding a lot more when we're a lot younger, when we have a lot more energy, with kind of like the end goal in mind, right? Of like, hey, okay, like whenever that time does come, we can maybe potentially ease off on the gas pedal a little bit more. And I know for me, that was like kind of one of the big drivers early on. Just like, hey, like go, 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 go for like the first, 8 to 10 years. And then from there, like, let's see where we can kind of get the biz to. And then maybe potentially, hopefully, right, like get everything where we're pretty much on like cruise control. Everything's kind of like autonomous, taking care of itself. You don't need to have to worry about, hey, like clocking in, being able to see patients or managing some day to day or, getting out there doing a fucking workshop on Saturday morning and stuff. So, yeah.
That's kind of my number. It's retirement by 35.
Yeah.
Not in the sense of like retired, like I'm not working anymore, but like everything on my calendar is something that I want to do when I want to do it, wherever I want to do it. Like that's the goal. Like, and I think it's very easy. I don't want to say it's easy. It's plausible. Like it's something that I think we both can get to by that
Yeah.
35 age. But I don't ever see myself not working. Like
100%.
I
Yeah, you need some sort of purpose, right? And I think in order to get it's possible, but I definitely don't think it's easy to get to, right? Because there's so many different like hurdles you have to navigate. You have to create systems. You have to be able to have good leaders set up in place to be able to replace yourself. And I think a lot of times people, I don't know if they necessarily get discouraged or they just maybe have a mismatch in expectations of how hard it is to actually get there, that potentially they just actually give up and switch in more into kind of like the solo lifestyle business where they treat like 25 a week, etc. But they're always in fulfillment versus like, hey, like I know it's tough, I'm probably gonna have to grind 40 60 hours a week during certain like growth phases of the business, whether it's, hey, we'll like bring somebody on, we'll also have to navigate all these other things, but then at the end, it's worth it.
yeah. The I see that a lot with the people that we've when we first started out. There was a lot of people that started out practices, ended up not scaling them, and they just kind of became solo providers. And I don't think that's a terrible thing, and that's what you want. Personally, it just I do want to just scale and grow so that people have more opportunities. And I think from my perspective, I'm like the product that we offer, I think is the best in New York City. So it's like I want people to not get fucked over by the healthcare system providers.
Yeah. And I like heard this thing from Hormozy like a couple years back, and I know I feel like some people have like mixed feelings on Hormozy depending on whatever take take on it, whether you think his view says too extreme or whatnot. But he had this one bit where he's just like, hey, he doesn't want to get to like the end of his life and have any kind of regrets. And I think like there's some instances in life where I 100% like feel the same way, right? Where it's like, hey, like what is the full potential that we can take, Motion or Extra Moment or GGC to, and how can we get that there and not feel any kind of regret, like, hey, maybe could I have potentially done this or this, right? And so yeah, it's just trying to always make sure you leave no stone unturned and making sure that it continues to grow to the best of its potential. Because I think, yeah, it would be so sick we have like a lot of insurance PT clinics getting very very large and eventually getting up, being bought up by private equity, but it's like no cash PT clinic has been able to kind of scale to that point where private equity even thinks it's like valuable to look at. They're so small and so volatile, right? Everything's dependent on word of mouth referrals or from, um, or dependent on the owner in terms of driving marketing and sales. But why can't we be the first one to actually get it to 4 or 5, 10 clinics and have it be autonomous and be the first of our kind in this industry to be able to get there? Like, why not you?
Yeah, my one of my patients, same thing. There's three different tiers of funds that they have that buys companies, and the lowest one is doing 6 to 10 million in revenue,
Yeah.
and completely bootstrapped, and they will come offer pay you. You would be a managing partner within that company, and then they would help you scale it. So he's always like, "Hey, let me know when you're there because
Yeah,
I
dude,
believe in this."
I would love to get it to, 5 to 6 mil and then be at a point where it's large enough where then you can get some like additional funding from like P because they feel like, hey, it's actually large enough to a point where it's somewhat valuable. But right now, the only person that seems valuable to is just the owner, right? It's
Yeah.
myself. Yeah.
I think so. We talked about like social stuff. We've talked about significant other. One thing that definitely gets compromised right now. I'm in the. I ebb and flow. I ebb and flow. I've been way better than before in the past, but it's just my like general health. Like
Hmm.
when I was training for the marathon and running the practice, I was fucking almost on point. Like my everything was good, but again, I was training for the marathon and running the practice. My social life was not great. Like it's like when my health is on point, my social life isn't great. Great when my social life is on point, health is like taking it back. So like right now, I'm in a season of like, obviously I've had a lot of social stuff with like almost 3 bachelor parties, couple of
Hmm.
weddings. So it's like social has been awesome. I'm seeing friends more, but health, it's like it's ebbed and flowed a little bit. Like I'm still trying my best to get 20 miles per week, 3 strength training sessions, but there was a point where like I remember when it was just Christy, me, and one other provider. Dude, I would have like maybe one workout session a week, and I would go for a
Hmm.
1 6 mile run, and that was it. But did you ever go through phases like that where like could barely find time to work out,
I would
or maybe
say
like sleep?
sleep was definitely one that was compromised. I would say for myself, workout, I always felt like I knew, hey, like being able to allocate at least like 30 minutes was always something that if I didn't get that accomplished, I would definitely feel it in terms of like my overall mood and stuff. And so I probably would go through phases where, I intentionally didn't sign up for anything, whether it's like a CrossFit competition or a race or anything like that, just because I knew, hey, like you're kind of just like maintaining. But for me, I always like definitely would prioritize at least like 30 minutes of movement just to be able to, like move around and feel good, not feel like complete shit the rest of the day. But I don't know what's like your social, I guess, like friends relationship kind of like, I feel like my viewpoint on it it's almost kind of like shifted and changed over like the last few years. I think like initially very early on I was like, oh dude, gotta prioritize, friends and stuff. But now I've almost kind of like mixed it in together with like my fitness, just so I can almost like, take out two birds with one stone. And so I don't know, it's funny. I think like my friend groups have kind of almost like ebbed and flowed throughout the years, depending on whatever my fitness interest is. And
Yeah,
so, very early on, hey, like the majority of my friends outside of work were, mostly just, from CrossFit. And, yeah, maybe we would hang out a little bit outside after CrossFit, but majority of times I would kind of get my social battery recharged was while I was also like getting my fitness on at the same time. Same thing when I was going through like a pretty big like pickleball phase. A lot of the training and tournaments and stuff that I would do would, all of a sudden, hey, a lot of the people and friends that I was hanging out with was also during that. And then now, like in the running phase, a lot of my social outlet of friends, relationships I foster are really just like during running as well too. We'll hang out while we're running and stuff. But for me, like I think I've been okay with not having, I guess, like additional social outlets, whether it's like, hey, hanging out with them, they'll go out to like bars and stuff on the weekend. I'm just like, hey, like that's not me. And I feel like I used to feel like bad about that, about like, hey, like why aren't you like hanging out with them? But I feel like over the last couple of years, I've been much more okay with, not being a part of that and being okay with it.
yeah. I think it's hard when like New York is one of those places where it's like if you've got homies, it's hard to not like. There's always something to do, always
Yeah.
things happening. I'm less of like go out past. It's very rare to see me out past 10 p.m.
Uh-huh.
Like if I go out, it's like if we hang out with another couple friend, it's like a 6 a.m. 6 p.m. dinner, a couple of drinks afterwards, and everyone's leaving by 10 so they can go back home. So it's like I very rarely will stay out past 10 p.m. Once a quarter, stay out past midnight, and that's about it. So like the hard part is like the culture in New York is like this work hard, play hard kind of
Yeah,
culture.
yeah, yeah.
So that's like and it's still like,
Where
dude,
it's
I
like
know.
you're expected to like, hey, like go out as well too, on top
Yeah,
of
like
yeah,
there's
like
there's a lot
grinding.
of there's a lot of social stuff happening in New York. Um, but I've definitely like my friend group, I've cut a lot of people that I don't think like serve me really well. So like kind of, and I would say that happened before physical therapy school, just kind of like when I took myself a little bit more seriously when I
Yeah.
graduated. And like when Christy came around, I was like, like I've had friends that do like Coke when we're out. And I'm like, like I can't like, I can't have that in my life
Mhm.
anymore. So like people that are like still like doing drugs while just having a few beers at a bar, like I can't do that. Like don't want to be around that shit. It's
And I think that like that's totally fine, right? Because like you have like these like shared memories with them. It's awesome. It's dope. But again, like interests and people go through different seasons and stuff. And I think it's okay for like friend groups to like ebb and flow depending on whatever the shared interest is, right? Like and so yeah, like back in the day in college, hey, shared interest was going out, getting girls, doing lines of clothes, keg stands, etc. And we all shared that shared interest. And that's why like, hey, we were all, part of the same friend group. But then, like as you continue on with your life, you ebb and flow into different phases. Whether I had a really good buddy of mine, like right after college, he like ended up becoming a dad. So all of a sudden, we just didn't really see him much anymore, right? Because again, different phases and stages of life. I think that's totally fine, honestly.
yeah. I don't have like too many friends that are like entrepreneurs. Or like I do in a sense that like they're in like the fitness and like rehab space, but they're not in like the same like problems that you're experiencing, right? Like
Mhm.
they're all like solo on their own,
Yeah,
doing their own thing, which is like without a doubt, it's still entrepreneurship. You're doing your thing and you're grinding, but it's just so much different when you're like having to provide for like a team, having to
yeah,
scale, and those problems are so different. So I think that's the part where like I don't have that many people within that group, and then we all are friends. Like we all run and like stay fit and stuff like that. But honestly, I like to do some of those things myself. Like me
yeah.
personally, I prefer running by myself.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't like running with other people. The only other person that I would run with is Christy. Or like if people, the
Damn. All
one
right.
thing I
So
will,
I won't hit you up to run next time I'm up there then.
nah, hell no. One of my boy Matt Choi hit me up to run when he came into town
Yeah.
once, and like this motherfucker talked to me the whole time, and I was like, "Yo, I don't run and talk, bro. Like this is not like this is not what we do."
Try to keep my
Uh,
heart rate down.
yeah, but I think the one thing I will do, it's like if someone's visiting and they want to network, I will let them come in and join me on a Zone 2 run. Like, hey,
Oh yeah.
if you want to chat, you got to link up with me here and we're going to go run here. Like, you've got to fit my schedule in some of those regards because, like, otherwise I'll just be running around all the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough to, I think it's when you can blend the hobbies, I think that's freaking awesome. But there's a lot of people that I like. I used to do jujitsu a ton. The people that I did jujitsu with were awesome people,
Mhm.
but they were like definitely different from like the type of person I would normally hang out with. Like we grabbed beers and stuff here and there. We would hang out outside the dojo, but it wasn't like a deeper connection by any means.
Yeah.
And that's why I
I think
feel like it's tough.
yeah. And I think too, it just depends like what level you want to take the business to. Um, I think like and we can even compare it to sports, right? So like some of those like Kipchoge, right? Like Kipchoge's like top tier runner. Some will probably say yeah, he's probably like one of the best marathon runners of all time. Like look at the amount of time that he puts into running compared to like me and you.
Yeah.
It's like 10x. It's probably even way more than that. But like everything he does is just like evolves and revolves around running and being able to like, compete at the level that he is competing at. And so, same thing. It just comes to business, right? So it's like if you have somebody who has like tremendous goals of taking their business over to like, I don't know, we'll say like 10 mil, the amount of input and volume that they're going to put into that is probably going to look a lot differently than depending on whatever your goals are. And so, if you're not happy with like where your business is, you probably just have to put more time and effort and into that and see what you are willing to sacrifice and give up. Right. But I think it's like you can't have like a mismatch in expectation where it's like, hey, I'm gonna kind of casually treat this business thing as like a hobby or like a side thing and expect it to do great when you're literally just like not putting in the work for it. And I think that's for a lot of people, it's a mismatch in expectations.
Yeah. The,
But you almost got to be like freaking like obsessed, right? Like everyone who's actually really good at like Kobe Bryant, dude, he's like obsessed with basketball, and that's why he's freaking Kobe.
you got to enjoy the work that you're doing, find purpose in it, and just be open to, because I don't think you can learn some of these like hard, steadfast like things until you've suffered through it, which is why it sucks, right? Like
Yeah.
you won't proactively do these things. I don't. I very rarely know someone that will proactively create a system to call their mom. Like it sounds ridiculous, but it's like Christy and I do quarterly meetings with one another where like it's offsite where like we just will talk about a relationship, and it's like until you've gone to the weeds of it, it's like you just don't see the value in some of these things. But then when you
Mhm.
suffer from like making all these sacrifices, you're like, all right, now I got to put a system in place, or I got to be more mindful of this because I know if I don't get that, it's gonna suck. And for me right now, it's like I'd sleep at like 10 p.m., but that bedtime now is about to get pushed to 9 p.m. because I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't operate with this the sleep that I'm at right now. Granted, we came off the busiest quarter we had, the busiest month, and I was like, "Yeah, Peter, we just had the busiest week." So it's just like we're in the season currently, but at the same time, it's like to make it sustainable, you just have to change your lifestyle. So like when I come home and I want to decompress, it's like I'm probably just gonna start to wind down instead of decompress, and that's just what you have to do in these kind of seasons.
Yeah, bro. And like with all these busy weeks that you have, if you have a couple of these, maybe the first week that you have there where everything's kind of just like overwhelming, it's all going on all at once. You got the launch, you got, all this like seminars, you got this travel, you got clients and everything. So it's like, hey, so much shit is going on, but then all of a sudden you get through it. And then maybe like a week later, you got to repeat it again. That second week you go through it, it's still going to suck, but it's probably not that bad because you've already experienced it once. And so I don't know. Let's just keep rolling with the running analogies, right? It's like the first time you go and do like a 20-mile long run, it's like, dude, everything fucking burns and hurts. It sucks, dude. Right? But then all of a sudden, all right, cool. Like maybe later you do it again, and all of a sudden your body adapts and you become more and more used to it. It's the same thing when it comes to like entrepreneurship and being able to just like accept shitty situations and understanding how to navigate and make it through them. You become better and better at tolerating them and understanding like what are the right moves to make within these certain situations. And like now, dude, like you can probably bust out like a 50-hour, client care week if you had to, because you've done it so
That'd be
many times
easy, bro.
before.
I
Yeah,
would
that's the
rather do
easy
client
part, dude.
care. Client care, like I feel like you feel the same way, right? Like doing
Yeah,
client care
dude.
is really not that bad
No.
because you're just like you're using a muscle that you've used so many times.
Yeah.
Doing stepping into like new uncharted territory is fucking hard because like you're from a like a motor skill perspective, like it just isn't there. Like you're doing something that you're not going to see an ROI immediately. So like that even sucks even more. But client care, like you're so good. I'm like, I feel validated. This was awesome. Like days when I do client care,
Give myself a pat on the back. Yeah.
it feels so fucking productive because it's like, yeah, you get that immediate feedback, which is why
Dopamine
people
hit.
hate to get.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
man,
funny. Yeah, I think maybe I'll do it. Like whenever I need a good little ego boost or dopamine hit. Just all right, I'm gonna go treat some clients.
yeah. Man. And then I had one more thing I was gonna. Oh, and then there's certain things I think are like an ad, right? So like when like for instance, I'm sleeping about like 6 hours a day currently, except on the weekends.
Mhm.
And some of you guys might be like, oh shit, that's a lot, right? But it's like still like I need 7 or 8 for it to be sustainable. But it's like I started fucking meditating for 5 minutes, started practicing gratitude, got mantras I do, like random shit throughout the day that like gives me more energy, that allows you to keep making things sustainable. Like the lunch I have packed has fucking sweet potatoes. Like if I eat sweet potatoes, I feel fucking energized, right? Opposed to like going down the street and getting like Cuban food. Like I would love to get Cuban food right now and eat rice, beans, and fucking oxtail. But I know that's going to put me to sleep. So it's like certain things just have to stay on point. And yeah, there's a lot of sacrifices to be made. And I just, in my eyes, it's all worth it. Sometimes when you're going through it, you're like, fuck, why? But when you think about all the hardships that you've endured in the past and where you're at now, you're like just fucking grateful.
Love it, man. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Any advice, any last words for someone that's going through it right now, Peter?
And I just say, like, there never really is a good story if there aren't any kind of, like pitfalls or mountains and hurdles, right? And so just, yeah, it's just part of the journey. You'll make it through it. Me and Andy, we've gone through a ton of those, and we probably still have a ton to continue to go through. Um, but it's part of the game, right? You got to do it in order to get to the, level that you want to be able to get to it. And I think one of the benefits about, being around other people who have already done it and or other people going through it at the same time, you get to kind of lean on each other for support and or know which ones to, avoid and or how to overcome that mountain a lot faster than trying to navigate and figure it out yourself. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just all about sacrifice, understanding priorities, and yeah, man.
Yeah, that one last part I think is great because like, Peter and I have like known each other for a while, but like even when we weren't partnered together with GGC, we would call each other probably once a quarter. Like, bro, what are you doing? Fuck yeah, it fucking sucks, dude. It's like, but that those conversations, even if it's like a 30-minute convo with someone where you get to riff and like just complain a little bit, it's like I feel better. Let's get after it. Like just to be able to like sling it with somebody, like I think that is also one of
Yeah,
the reasons why
suffering
I'm
with
so.
others always just makes suffering way
Think
easier. I know
about
you
call
said
center,
you like running by yourself, but I don't know. Whenever I'm like going through like a shitty hard workout, like it goes by so much better when I have someone else going through the workout with me.
Nah, fuck that. I like running, obviously like when it's so much easier to run during the actual race. But
Yeah.
prior to that, nah, I just like to be in my thoughts. All right, squad. Good stuff. If you need us, you know, come on, we got you covered. But first off, I don't know what this review count has been. So let me just take a quick
Okay,
little
it better not
update.
be at 42 because that's what we were at last week.
42.
42.
Yo, but I just want to say appreciate you guys for listening because like it means a lot. Our average views for each episode have gone up. We're hitting more consistent views every single week, and we've gotten a lot of feedback from people responding to emails, messaging us on Instagram, and then people that we just get to talk to every week. They're just like, "Oh, this podcast episode is super useful." So if you feel like some of these things are really resonating with you and you want to send some goodwill, listen, Peter and I are delaying gratification. We need some immediate feedback loops. We need you to tell us that we're worthy. So if you can do that, just let us know that we're doing a great job and share with a friend. That would mean a ton. Peace, squad.